Everyone. This is Dr. Bagley, early morning Saturday. Hopefully you guys doing okay. So today I was just sitting out here listening to the birds, looking out there, and so today I want to talk to you about the truth about leaving a legacy. And I don't know why I got into this. I think I was just looking at a rabbit out there and some deers. And in this idea, I had a question about life. We do a lot of things. We wake up, we do some things, we go to bed, sometimes we dream, but then we'll wake up and do it again. And then the question is life. What is life all about? And so I don't know, I just got into this thought of life. In the thought process, though, I kind of like hinted at leaving a legacy. What is this? Like your name. I've heard that you want to leave your name. And the reason it's important for someone to leave their name is because in 3 generations, they're going to forget your name. I mean, quite honestly, if you look 3 generations back, you may not know their name. And it's okay. I've come to the conclusion that it's okay. That in 3 generations, they're not going to remember my name. But what they are going to remember is a legacy. It is not the money, first of all, when we talk about legacies. It's not about money because money is tricky. It's an idea. Money is tricky because if you give it to someone, they're going to be dependent on you. And if you pass away, then that dependency goes away. And then that person who depended on you will be in a worse condition than if you didn't give them no money in the first place. So no, it's not about money. This is why rich people give it away. What it really ultimately is about, the legacy, is leaving it. It's what you do. It's not about you yourself. It's what you do. It's not what you have. It's what you do. Meaning, if you take a DNA, let's put it this way. If you take a DNA test and you look back where you come from, in all of that time, of all those generations that you come from, in a certain location to where you're at now, how many names do you know? Probably none. And then if you ask yourself, what did any of them do for me to realize what's in me to do? And that is a legacy. Meaning, if I look back in my history, I know there's a town, a city that's after my last name. So there's men and women who were politicians. There were doctors. There were lawyers. There were authors. There were entrepreneurs. And I don't know any of their name, but the legacies they left behind is what they've done. And so when I look back and behind my life in my blood is what they left behind, what they've done. And so therefore, I have a choice. I can leave a legacy, meaning grab what they've done, apply it to my own life, and then pass it on to the future of myself. So likewise, if I am, which I am, an author, I am a doctor, I am a military personnel, used to be, I am an entrepreneur. So those ideas of having that qualifications, having those experiences, having all of that, and then if I die, I know in 3 generations they're not going to remember my name, which is okay because I left a legacy, meaning The children that come out of me, my son who is an entrepreneur, young entrepreneur coming up now, my daughter who wants to be an author like her dad, my other daughter who wants to be a doctor like her dad. That's the legacy that we leave behind. And 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 generations in front of me. I don't know their name. They're not going to know my name. But yet, they're going to realize what I've done through the bloodline that I've set, through the bloodline that the history had put in me to do, and so on and so forth. If you follow me so far, and if this kind of sort of makes sense to you, I want to help you, if you're, and the young ones. When you decide that you want to leave something behind for your children and your children's children, don't let it be money. Do not let it be money. Money, like I said before, is dangerous. Money is dangerous because people become dependent on the money. And if you leave money behind, they're going to be dependent on you. And when you pass away, that money eventually is going to go away as soon as they realize that they cannot keep up with the money that you were providing. So don't give them money at all. None. Zero. And if you're trying this thing and you're still younger or however old, doesn't matter. Colonel Sanders, KFC, was 61 before he started. The point is, you have to focus on yourself. You cannot focus on your mate. You cannot focus on your children. You cannot focus on your friends. And let me explain. I know it sounds kind of harsh, so let me explain. You cannot focus on your mates. They're always going to disappoint you. And their life they have their own future and history. So they're going to disappoint you eventually. You can't focus on your children because eventually they're going to grow up and want to leave the house if they haven't already. You can't depend on your friends because your friends are always trying to struggle through what they're going to struggle through, and they're trying to make it. And if you guys can have a nice time here and there, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being dependent, being focused on them more so than focus on yourself. You have to struggle. You have to go through hell. You have to do this for yourself. You have to be, I hate to use the word, but in context, selfish. You have to become something. And that what you become is your legacy. Now, let me give you an analogy just in case you don't get it. Go outside your window, look at a tree or a bush or a flower or whatever you like. I want you to realize something. That tree, that flower, that bush is growing up. It became. That tree, that flower, that bush is going to have a seed. We call it children. That seed is going to go down into that ground. That ground, in hope that that ground is going to cover that seed up and put that seed in darkness. That seed has an opportunity, like billions of people in this earth has an opportunity to become. When that seed becomes, that seed can only become what it knows to become, or in context, what's in its blood to become. That tree, that flower, that bush is not there to help that seed become. The seed is on its own. It has to go through the struggles like you went through the struggles, like our grandparents went through the struggles to become. And if you keep them from struggling, they're just going to die away. That's just nature. That's what nature is all about. So the hardship of becoming, of sacrifices that I went through, the hell that I went through, the death that I gone through, the environment that I was born into, all of that struggles was the reason I became an author, the reason I become a doctor, the reason I became the military guy, the reason I became an entrepreneur. If I didn't have none of those struggles, I wouldn't have became none of that stuff, because I would have been too dependent on someone or something else. So the hardship of life, of leaving a legacy, is not your name. It's what you do. And if what you do, you feel like you're not at your highest ability, I would suggest that you get back on it. Go through, go to school, get an academic stuff, go through, suck it up, get back out in the game, play it, because life starts and life will end. What will you leave behind when you pass away? Because your name is going to be forgotten within 3 generations. And that is a concern that I have a long time ago. But that is what legacy is all about. Such is life. You wake up just to find out you're behind. You struggle through it just to find out that you're about to die. Life. Anyway, thank you, Kim. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Juanita, Alverdo. Lily. I'll just call you Lily. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me for whatever I was talking about. That's just how I think sometimes, especially 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, which I should have been in bed. I wanted to be in bed, but I just couldn't be in bed. Anyway, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk very, very soon. All right, bye-bye.